Hello, everyone, and welcome to Get More Clients. I'm your host, Lynn Whitbeck. Business owners and entrepreneurs hire me to ignite winning sales because most are chasing down leads, lack client retention, conversion, and profit. The mission of this show is to educate, inspire, and motivate women and men around the world to build a robust sales strategy to get more clients, because many can't get more clients and haven't a clue why. You will learn to transform thinking to the client's perspective, eliminate the lengthy, chaotic sales cycle to ignite your sales and unleash lasting profits. You will also have the opportunity to connect with me further to see how I can support you beyond today. Now, last week on Get More Clients, we began and started talking about core and negotiation. That's the core personality codes and how you utilize that in negotiations. So last week, it was the big reveal of Fortune 500 negotiating secrets, and that's to really lean into core. And today, I've got the wonderful Leslie Nace back, and we're going to be discussing 3 reliable negotiation techniques where everyone wins. And I'm sure you already know, but Leslie is a certified core communication expert. Entrepreneurs hire Leslie to get to the core of communication because most fail to speak the language of their listener and are missing out on connections, relationships, and resolutions to maximize success. So she helps break down barriers to leverage conversations for collaborations and conversions. So there are 3 proven techniques that create win-win in negotiations. And being authentic and secure when you are in negotiation is your recipe for sales, relationship, and business success. By the end of today's show, you will learn how to use smart trade-offs, when you should be using contingent contracts, and where to use milestones and deadlines when negotiating, I should say. In all negotiations, active listening, empathy, and a genuine desire to create mutually beneficial outcomes are key. Tailoring your approach to the unique preferences of each core personality code will strengthen the negotiation process and foster successful long-term partnerships. Leslie, I'm caught you mid-sip, but let's dive into the 3 proven techniques that create win-win negotiations. Now, the first one is smart trade-offs. Smart trade-offs involves identifying an issue your client cares deeply about, which you value less. Then you propose making a concession on that issue in exchange for a concession from your client on an issue that you value highly. So, Leslie, when we're diving into this smart trade-offs, how would you use the smart trade-off strategy for each personality code? Or are there certain codes that lend itself more to using smart trade-offs?
I think in any code, you can use a smart trade-off. And one of the things about core communications is that in any given time, once you, of course, know your own personality code and where you operate from, then you know who you're dealing with, what are some of their traits and personalities. That's what helps you the most with this with the smart trade-off time. So let's take the C, if you don't remember from before, is C is a catalyst. So catalysts are people who they just want to close the deal, right? They want immediate results, and their implementation, and they want action and achievement. They're really good at that generating ideas and that speaking part. So in the catalyst, then in the smart trade-off, that gives you clues as to where you're coming from, what you have to offer, and what's going to work best with with them. So an example of that, I mean, they're ready to take action. They're the people who want to go play the sports, right? And they probably watch games. And so that gives you an in as to whatever sports teams are playing in that time, or if they're doing certain sports, it kind of gives you an in and a background to talk about that, to relate to them on that. But they might just kind of, slough off some of that and just going to go, okay, but get to the meat of this. So they're the ones who are really going to be, okay, you want to do this not 90 days, you want to do it in 60 days, then let's really take an action there and figure that one out. So then comes that O. The O is the optimizer. They're the people, they like the budgeting. They like the accounting, they want to be organized and creating systems. And that's where they're going to be when you're negotiating. They want to know what the meat and potatoes is this. What is the structure of what you're offering them? Okay, we got it. We're going to do this in 90 days. But what's the system? How do I need to get prepared? How do I need to color code everything? Where's the file? And that's where they're going to feel comfortable when you're telling them, okay, so here's, we've got the 90 days, but in week 1, this is what we're going to break down to. That's going to carry you through the month, because you'll be learning that part of the system. And then the next month, there's another little part that you're going to, work through. But if you are working faster and you get the concept, it's okay, because I got everything else set up for you. So they're going to feel like, oh, okay, then I've got this. I can learn this system. I can build on it. I can keep going more. So that's another great one. So the R in core is for relator. Relators are about serving customers. They're serving their clients. They love collaboration. They love counseling and coaching. They even like to do retreats and events like that. So if you've got a 90-day program where perhaps they love to collaborate and work with other people, then that's where you might say, hey, I know that this is a lot going on, but we've got the project manager right here who's going to help you with this. And this is, they'll walk you through how you're going to reach out to those clients or those customers. And that's part of back and forth that's going to make them feel comfortable. And then the last word or letter in the word core is your E, your experts. Now, remember, they're the experts want to know what's the research and development, what's that big picture that they're looking for. They want your technical support, and they want innovative ideas, but they want the details. So they're looking for that. You have that innovative idea going on, and you got the research to prove how this is going to happen to them. They're going to easily be able to follow whatever you've got laid out in that 90 days as an example there. What would you add to that, Lynn?
Yeah, so let's sort of pick up with the experts. And when we're talking about smart trade-offs, you use them to engage in intellectual discussions, because experts love to have that knowledge and learning and intellectual discussions. They enjoy delving into the details, and smart trade-offs will support negotiating around the nuances and intricacies of your product or service. So that's how I would use smart trade-offs with experts. And sort of going in reverse order for relators, using smart trade-offs enables you to tailor solutions to their needs and really demonstrate how your product or service aligns with their heart-centered approach and supports their community or team-focused goals. And with optimizers, smart trade-offs can be utilized to provide an in-depth information on how your product or service follows efficient processes, saves time, reduces risks, and delivers consistent results. Because with optimizers, of course, they're very risk averse. So that's how smart trade-offs can be utilized to your advantage when negotiating with blueprints. Now, last, Catalyst, smart trade-offs actually works exceptionally well when negotiating with Catalyst because they love to win. And with a smart trade-off, they won the thing that they cared about most. So here you're going to focus on outcomes and highlight the positive impact of your product or service on their business. And once again, you want to evolve them actively. Allow Catalyst to participate in the negotiation process. Well, everyone should be participating in the process, but with Catalyst, you definitely want them to feel like that VIP, that superstar, and that their input and their feedback is critical to get them to engage. And that's what's important with them. And all of the codes, the personality codes, work well with smart trade-offs. But depending on their primary code, you're going to want to pivot the style that you utilize when using smart trade-offs as one of these win-win techniques. All right. Anything in conclusion, or should we move on to contingent contracts?
No, I think you said it really nicely. And one thing that really came up in my mind when you were talking is like, if you're to put together a team for negotiating, then the best of all worlds is to have one of each of these personality codes as part of your team.
Absolutely.
In any of what we're saying.
Yeah, because with most of the people that you're negotiating with, once again, you're not a single code. We are all made up of multiple codes. In fact, we have all 4 codes in our personality. It's just that in some cases we can be more predominant in one code or even averse to another. So it's important to really recognize the language that your negotiating cohort is using, so that some of the body language that Leslie's talked about before, the different ways that you can identify their core personality code. Okay, so let's move on to contingent contracts. So this is a second technique that is going to create a win-win. And an example of a contingent contract is a 3-month trial. And this is where you have the client will agree to a 3-month, such as a statement of work or a 3-month program, with the idea that if this is successful, if it works, it's a proven, that then they will agree to a full contract for a longer period of time, such as a year or 2 or 3 years. And that's when specific contingencies are met within those 3 months. And this is a technique that I personally have used many times. And it was very effective to close multi-million-dollar contracts because it gives that short-term yes for a proof of concept so that they can minimize risk when they're making the decision to sign a longer-term contract. And it does, when you perform on it, which you will, it leads to that long-term yes. Now, so thinking about contingent contracts, Leslie, I think you're going to tell me right off the top that there's a personality code that's going to really be attracted to contingent contracts, but they do work with all codes. But Leslie, why don't you go ahead and kick off here?
Well, you're absolutely right. Our optimizers are the ones who love the contingent contracts. It's an excellent technique to work with them, especially if this is the first time. It's true for all of them, but if this is the first time that you're working with somebody, you're building that relationship. And this is that great way to do that. With the optimizer, the contingency contract, it addresses the risk concerns, acknowledging their low risk tolerance and provide guarantees or warranties to ease their apprehensions, I should say. And in all of this, you just be patient, be methodical, because optimizers may take time to make their decisions. They're going to be the ones that are going to kind of sit back and they're still trying to fit all of this in. But when you give them the opportunity that allows them to go through the information at their own pace and offer clarifications as needed, this is where you really started to build that relationship. So the other ones I want to talk about is the relators, because relators, they appreciate the honesty and the transparency of what you're doing within this contingency contract, so they are a natural negotiating technique which emphasizes the potential for mutual rewarding partnership just beyond the immediate sale. Because remember, these are the people who have that heartfelt story. So during this time, with any heartfelt story, things are in flux and in change. And so it's going to help you develop a better program for them over that time. I know we're going to skip to that expert, and the contingent contracts offer continuous learning opportunities, which really strikes them. The wheels in their brain are like, yeah, you demonstrate how your partnership will provide ongoing learning and developing, and they're already going, oh, great, something else I can learn, something more I can do. It really is. It strikes up a chord because they're like those sponges for knowledge. They just want to take it in. And then we'll go back up to the top of C, the catalyst, to use the contingent contract to be, you need to really be concise in it and decisive. Okay, so because your catalysts want to take some action, but they can appreciate that the quick decision making in this time, and they might dislike too much of a discussion going on. Don't prolong, and as that's not a good saying. I was going to bring up the old saying, but it really, don't go on and on about things, running away with your mouth and just talking, because they have the quick, but they're going to feel those rewards because you present it clearly with the benefits and a straightforward proposal, then they're ready for that. You need to, is there anything else that I missed in that, Lynn, in your vast knowledge that you could certainly share with everyone?
No, I mean, that was really well said with when we're dealing with contingent contracts. And once again, one of the great things that Leslie's highlighted throughout this discussion is how you leverage the core personality to take a technique such as contingent contracts and then pivot it to that personality code. And even though blueprints, of course, are going to love contingent contracts because they are slow to build trust. They're very risk adverse. They want stability. They want structure. They want to see the processes. They want to see that this is predictable, that it's going to work. But in doing so, you're actually building that trust with them in that, let's say, that 3-month trial. And those optimizers, they are actually the most loyal. Once they become a client and you're serving their needs and taking care of them, they are very, very loyal. And they're the ones that are going to give you incredible referrals and introductions and additional business. But they are the slowest to move forward. So contingent contracts are a great way to feed their desire for proof of concept. And with the catalyst, I mean, when Leslie was just sort of ending with, the contingent contracts, in complete contrast, offer them freedom and flexibility because they're not tied to anything beyond 3 months, right? It allows them to take that immediate action for that opportunity, to seize that. And they also get that sense that they were able to win with this 3 months, but they still can change their mind. It really is important to remember those words that really strike a chord with each of the core personalities. And then when we sort of pivot back to relators, and this is an important point too, that most of the population, it is the predominant personality code is relators, because we're human beings. We're human. We want those relationships. We want those connections. So even if it's not a predominant code, most people have some relator. I mean, everyone has some relator in them, right? But it tends to be a code that will often then fall in the second or third position when you're looking at someone's profile, but they're looking for the relationship that's going to be built in that 3-month period. See how you fit with their vision, with their community, with their team. And they're really looking for that harmony. And that's something that you can really strike a chord with them when you're talking about contingent contracts. And then when we get into our experts, now they love to learn, but they also love to discuss and work these things out. And a contingent contract allows them to do both, because then they can become an expert at this, they can learn it, and then they can apply that knowledge and refine it, right? They can have discussions along the way to pivot and develop what they're doing. And it really gives them that big picture of what it's going to be like to work with you. And that is, once again, something that you can lean into when you're working with experts. So anything else you want to tack on here before we move on to the technique number 3?
No, you're very thorough, because you've dealt with all of these. So your knowledge is so valuable for people to really listen to and pick up what you have to say. So yeah, let's move on to the next one.
Well, thank you. So the last one is milestones and deadlines. And this technique is to place milestones and deadlines within an implementation plan, within the agreement. Now, this can also be a service level agreement that could be part of the milestones and deadlines. There's many different aspects that you can utilize milestones and deadlines. But this is another strategy to utilize when negotiating. So once again, with your high catalyst, they're going to want to know how fast they can start and how fast they can get results. So you can use that, but I'm not going to steal Leslie's thunder. So Leslie, how would you use milestones and deadlines and adapt for each personality code with the individuals you're negotiating with?
Well, you started off with the best one, the catalyst, because you're right. They absolutely love this, that sense of achievement. I reached a milestone. I got, oh, here's my deadline. It's anything. You've got that focus to move forward. And it just, when you highlight that in your offering, it aligns with their ambition, to reach some kind of goal, to make that difference, and emphasize with a swift decision that will lead to faster results and faster growth. And that's really what they're looking for in business. They'll hop on board. Now, our optimizers, again, remember, it sounds like we're repeating this, but they want that step-by-step plan. So when you've got a milestone, and, we've been talking 3 months, 90 days, kind of thing, and there's deadlines to meet. So you learn your first part, you got a clear outline of what the implementation and the process is. They want to get to that first deadline, that first milestone. I accomplished this, and then you continue to show that structured approach to their solution is what they need, and they're just like, they're soaking it all in, because, oh my gosh, they're visualizing how they can really do this and accomplish what it is, because they've got the systems in place. So then with your relators, we've talked about, you just pointed out how so many of us are relators, that, we go with that open heart, and then that positive impact of what a milestone is going to have on their community. And that's what it's all about for them, that if you've got some they really don't care about the deadlines and the milestones unless you can attach it to how that goes with the positive on their community, how it aligns with their values. Their values and their missions are so important. So when you cater to their unique needs, it's showing that you're supporting their goals and their vision and their growth. And, they want to celebrate at each little place. It's like, oh my God, look what we just did. This is terrific. And then of course, we've got the experts of the last year when we're talking about milestones and deadlines, and to emphasize here how your partnership is so important because it provides ongoing learning. And we just touched on this, that if you've got a program that's got more learning, something else for them to do as experts, they're ready. So that learning is one thing, but if they can also development resources, so if they can develop more resources to support their thirst for knowledge and whatever they're doing in business, it is really important for them to be able to have that, because that's where they're going to meet their milestones and their deadlines.
Yeah, a
So,
win-win.
yeah, there you go, Lynn. Yeah.
A win-win with these three techniques. And the other thing that's really important is, not only using these three techniques, you can actually use them in combination. They're not standalone. You can
Right.
use all three together. You can use them depending on the situation. You may just pull one out as the most, the one that makes the most sense in that situation. But also remember that you're often not negotiating with just one person.
Right.
Most companies, it's going to be, there may be a single decision maker, but there are other people in the room who either influencers, or they're the ones who are going to be the executors. They're actually going to implement whatever your service, your product or service is, or they're going to be utilizing it or working with it. So making sure that you're speaking to everyone in the room when you're in that negotiation process. And these people in different roles, they're going to have different personality codes.
Yeah.
So also having this balanced approach so that you're not repelling anyone, but you're appealing and answering questions to everyone in that room is very important during the negotiation process. And with the core personality coding and paying attention to the body language and the words that they use, this is a very effective communication technique that is going to help you build stronger relationships, close more sales, that is going to allow you to have more business, feed your own community with that business, but to really help and serve more people. And it's an incredible opportunity for long-term expansion of the business with this client, because that was a win-win negotiation. You have not planted a bitter seed. Instead, you've just been fertilizing and watering this plant that's going to become this bigger bush that will lead to more business with this client and referrals and introductions for additional business from future clients. So Leslie, I think it's time that we wrap up today. I mean, thank you so much for your insights on the three proven techniques to negotiate win-win outcomes. And with practice and a deeper understanding of your own negotiation style and that of others, and really diving into the core communication, which Leslie does so brilliantly, I can't even talk now, brilliantly, you can become a skilled negotiator, and it will lead you to better business outcomes and stronger partnerships. And I want to thank everyone who tuned in. My purpose is for you to get more clients. Bottom line, don't make this harder than it has to be. Sales should be a win-win. And on behalf of Petite to Queen and with Leslie, we've carved out a limited number of time slots to invite you to hop on and ignite your sales call with us to see what's working, not working, and what you would love to have working. We're going to see how we might further support you in effectively generating more leads, converting more sales, and fulfilling on your promise as a brand and organization. Because the fastest way to success is to assure people that they matter. And the best way to make that happen is to build a consistent sales strategy to acquire, convert, and capitalize on every lead. And when you do, you will find growing your business is easy and lucrative. Today, Leslie and I shared 3 reliable negotiation techniques where everyone wins. The key is for you to implement these steps and stop wasting time, energy, and resources, so you have the opportunity to get the support you need for true success. say yes to you and jump on a call with us, you can go to pdq.link/win-win. And I just wanted to say thank you so much for tuning in. You can connect with me on our website. All of Leslie's contact information will be in the post, so you can stay current from both of us on our insightful advice, our breakthrough advantages, and never miss an episode of Get More Clients. To do that, sign up for our weekly Wisdoms newsletter at petitetoqueen.com. Now, next time on Get More Clients, I'm going to share how to stack your yeses and win more clients. Make sure you don't miss a single episode by subscribing to Get More Clients wherever you get your podcasts. And if you love the show, please share it and give us a 5-star review. We would very much appreciate it. And remember, you can connect with Leslie at leslienace.com. So I'm going to see you next week on Get More Clients. Thank you. Thank you, Leslie.
Bye.